Right, okay guys, so before we get going, there's a couple of things I just want to address. Yes, I am in a different location. I'm filming this in the front room. Reason for that is because I've got some stuff going on outside the world of YouTube, which is taking up a lot of my time at the moment. And unfortunately, I literally just have a few minutes where I can record this video. So I haven't got the time to set up the mic and the lighting and all that sort of stuff. So I've done it on the fly and I'm doing it in the front room. Yeah, there are a few things going on behind the scenes at the moment, and unfortunately they're taking up all my time. But I didn't want to let you guys down and not put out an 8-bit micro video. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, and obviously it's always every Friday normally. So I wanted to make sure I got one in there for you. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is if you didn't watch the Micromaniac stream, that's up. That was last Saturday. I will put a link at the end, so if you watch to the end and click on that, you'll be able to watch it there if you haven't already. The other thing is, there's something else that I want to show you guys at the end and talk about, just in case you've been living under a rock and you've missed it. So yeah, well, there's a little bit at the end, so make sure you stay on till the end. Right, okay guys, no more delays. Let's play Space Taxi on the Commodore 64. And here we have Space Taxi. Now, this is a game, when I think of the Commodore 64, I always think of Space Taxi. This was a game I played a lot back in the day. I had it on disc. Probably been about 30 years since I played this game, thinking about it. But it was one of my favourites. I used to play it a lot. Which is interesting, because when you think about it, it has the thrust sort of style mechanic to it. And as you know, guys, thrust is a game I hate. But I do like this one. Now, of course, there you just heard a bit of a speech there, which of course blew me away when I was a kid. You know, this wasn't something you heard a lot in games, not back then. So as you can see, you know, basic idea of the game: pick up your little guy, and then you go to the pad that he wants to be dropped off on, and eventually once you've done a few of them, then you go through the hole in the ceiling. But of course you've got to land, and if you don't get the legs down in time, or you just misjudge it slightly, you crash. Now, what I like about this game is it's the simplicity of it. It's a simple game, but it's challenging. And although it's simple, it's very enjoyable to play. It was funny, when I first put this on, I got like the nostalgia vibe straight away. You know, the minute I heard that "Hey Taxi," it was like, oh, I remember this, you know. Just got to line that up right. And there we go. Right. So as you can see, this one's a little bit more challenging. And you may have noticed that occasionally you can't quite make out what pad they're saying, but if you look at the bottom in the middle, you'll see it comes up so that you can tell where you're going. Like I said before, it's a very simple game, but very addictive. I mean, like, even just doing this now, I want to go and play it again, you know. Such a good game. Oh, nearly overcooked it there. Right, so as you can see, this one's a little bit more tricky because I've got to try and fit into that very small gap. Now, I should add that this game is a download. This is a very tricky game. to try and find on physical media. I've tried, and if you do find it, it's ridiculously priced. Even back in the day when I had this, it was, let's do the quotations, a backup. Right, now this one's very tricky. Some of these pads are in really bad places. Ooh. Too fast, didn't have the legs down there. Right, now this is where it all goes a little bit pear-shaped, guys. Like I said, I haven't played it for 30 years, so, you know, I'm still trying to get used to it. But this is such a hard platform to land on, because you can see there's not a lot of clearance there, and you've got to get the legs down. But the problem is, once you put the legs down, you can't really steer. You can control your lift and all that, but you can't control your steering. So it makes the game very challenging then. Funny when you think about it, because up until this point I don't think I'd lost any lives at all. But as you can see, I'm losing a boatload now. Crash and burn. This is probably the worst platform I could have got given here. There you go, see, you can't steer. Right, okay. Back with my final thoughts. Right, okay guys, so what did you think of that? I mean, this is the thing, have you heard of Space Taxi before? I would have thought you would have. But saying that, this is a hard game to get on physical copy. I've tried. You can only find it on disc, and I don't have a disc drive these days. I did when I was a kid. And even then, it's very pricey if you do find it, because it doesn't come up very often. So unfortunately for this video, I had to do it as a download. Easiest way to find it. Now, as you would have heard me saying during the gameplay, I haven't played this game for 30 years, maybe a bit longer. So I'm a little bit rusty, and you probably would have noticed that on the 4th level where I couldn't get on that pad. Now this is the thing about this game, it's not massively complicated, it's not graphically massively amazing, it's very basic, but sometimes that's all you need, right? You know, a basic concept to the game, little bit different to everything else, and also the fact that it's very addictive, you know. This is a game that even while I was doing this video, I wanted to go back and play again. It's one of them games that keeps beckoning you back, and the more you play it, obviously the better you get at it. Now, I should also point out that something else that's crazy about this game is that there's actual speech on it. Now, these days we're used to this, but back when I was a kid, this was pretty few and far between. So I remember when I very first played this and I heard that speech, it blew my mind. You know, so like I say, these days it's nothing in comparison. But when you consider this is a long time ago, you know, it's quite impressive that they managed to do that. Now, you'll notice also that the game does lack music. And yes, the Commodore 64 is known for its music. But I do get the feeling that with this game, the music would actually be out of place. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel this game, it works without the music. Probably because, you know, the speech, you can hear what's being said. Like I say, it's not a massively complicated sort of game. You know, the gameplay mechanics are quite simple. It's just a case of mastering them. So, this is the thing. I mean, a lot of Commodore 64 games, you know, it's music, graphics, you know, and the gameplay obviously does come into it. But with this game, it is purely just gameplay. Now, you might also notice that there's a slight thrust-style mechanic in there. And if you know me well enough through watching the videos, you will know I don't like thrust. I can't stand that game. However, I do like this one. And I can't really explain why. if I'm honest. You know, obviously there are subtle differences, but yeah, for some reason I don't like Thrust. I do like this. So, and this is a game, like, when I think of this game, it always reminds me of me back when I was, you know, 10, 11 years old, playing this on my Commodore 64. And whenever I think of Commodore 64, this is one of the games I think of. Right, okay, now before we end this video, there is something I just want to show you, so just watch this. Right, okay guys, so as you would have seen from that piece of video there, yes, the Retro 5, it will be on Retro Chef's channel. And yes, we are talking to Dominik Diamond from the original Games Master. Yeah, we basically, Lee reached out and we didn't expect him to reply, and he did. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's not very often that you get to meet someone, especially someone who's been on TV, that you was watching as a kid. And if I'm honest, this is like going back to your childhood, you know. And the other thing about this is that we didn't just do this for us guys, we did this for everyone in the community, you know. This isn't something where we thought, oh, let's see if we can get a famous person. No, it's not about that. This was all about getting somebody on that everybody can participate in, you know. So, and when I say participate, if you go over to the Facebook page for the Retro 5, you can bang your questions in there, because what we're going to try and do is get as many community questions in as we can. I think it's important that everybody's involved in this, because this is not just a Retro 5 thing, this is a retro gaming thing, you know. We all need to be involved in this. This is an experience for all of us, you know. And let's be honest, these sort of things don't come up every day. So I just wanted to mention that in there. Now, as you would have seen on that little trailer there, it's 7:30. It's on the Retro Chef's channel. So like I say, go over to the Facebook page, get your questions in. Obviously, we won't be able to get every single question in, but we will do our best to get as many in as we can. Like I say, these things don't happen every day. You know, let's make the most of it while we can. Right, okay guys, so that's all I wanted to say on this video. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And until next time, take care, stay safe. Nerdy Geezer out.